I've been making some ridiculously chunky stuff this winter. I like that lip angle. With how thick this bait's going to be, when you have a lip angle like that, on a bait like that, you get a ton of this. And I like that. Super slow retrieve, early morning, glassy water, full of pike. Just a few more months away, that's all. I think this was the funkiest piece of wood in my shop. It's a pretty crazy piece of wood. I have no idea what it is. I gave it a thorough smell test too, and I cannot figure out what this wood is. It's a burl of something. It's very soft wood. I wonder if this is like, yeah, nothing comes to mind. I don't know. You know, it's gonna sound crazy, but it kind of feels and seems like a Tupelo burl because the wood's so soft. And it's gummy. Like that feels like Tupelo wood as I'm carving it. Maybe basswood burl. Soft. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it's a Tupelo wood burl. That makes this even cooler. It's my favorite wood. Man, this could be way worse. This isn't that bad for burl wood. I was ready to do this on the sander, like the entire thing, because the grain might not let me cut through it at all evenly, but I just wish I knew what this was. My best guess possible, I would say spalted Tupelo burl. Smells like Tupelo wood now. It's probably just my brain trying to make it that. It's awfully pretty though. Look at that. That's like nature materialized right there. Freaking map of the universe. What if I just painted this whole thing white? White's a good color around here, you know? I have that lump to carve off the side of its head right there, and then I'm done. And it's straight to the sander. We're shooting for universal smoothism. Every little millimeter of this bait needs to be sanded and smooth. I don't want any opaque paint on this bait. There will be paint on this bait, but all of it will be translucent. It's not easy to do. You can very quickly go overboard. I just hope this wood doesn't get too dark when I add the polyurethane to it to seal it. I think I'm just gonna try to mimic a conventional looking crankbait. You know how those crankbaits, the patterns don't really mimic a specific fish. They just look a certain way because they all come from the same place in China. I'm gonna mimic that. I think the eyes at that angle and on the face in that way of this bait with that kind of lip will look cool. If it was a normal Lexan slot lip, I don't like it like that. But old lures can look derpy like that and still be cool, so. I'm actually gonna mortise out a slot for this lip to fit inside of, so the metal will come up flush with the bait. Use this 1/2" bit here to start that. It's a start. I'm excited. It's gonna be classy. See that dust in there? I filed off the corner of a piece of burl wood, same as this stuff. And try to mix all that delicious burl dust in there. Mix us up some burl epoxy. I feel so sophisticated. This is just such a fancy lure. Talk about beating a dead lemonade jug. I think that'll just be a permanent target for right there. Want to maintain the roundness, but make sure the seam is flush still. So you got to do a lot of curvy passes. I mean, that just looks like epoxy. Maybe it'll look better as I go through the sanding. 220. 300, 400, and a strop. See if that helps. Ooh, that made it so smooth. But yeah, it doesn't, I suppose it's a fitting tone and color. It matches the burl wood, but yeah, just like a dark hole right there. Classy. I'm just gonna leave it at 400. I'm gonna sand that. My first thought is to actually just install this lip and straight up clear coat over that inlay and just have it be permanent. There'll be screws going through there. That's what I got for screws. 1/4 inch stainless steel, the lip stainless steel. Okay. Medium thick black super glue is going in there, and then the lip's going over that. And it's just gonna be a glue up like that. And then a screw eye goes through that hole, and that's the front hook hanger. Gonna look a heck of a lot better than that. And then this is a line tie attachment that I'll just put a split ring off of that. No big deal. Put a drop right in one of the holes. Super, super straight. Absolute hetero. I'm not gonna get all happy with the accelerator with this build. I don't feel like soaking the wood in this stuff does it any favors. Okay, that pilot hole is full of super glue. Sometimes you need to get some out. I like to use a wire for that. Woo, okay. Yeah, that was a lot. Now it's perfect. Super straight again. That's some uppity lure making right there. Always poke before you drill. I'm gonna super glue these in too. Both flathead screws are perpendicular and horizontal to each other. Very important detail. Time to see how it looks with something on it. Here we go. I hope it's not too dark. Oh my goodness, that is so dark. It's evening out though. Whoa. What happened? What in the world? That's the most beautiful thing I've ever done that to. Wow. I want to get this done quick and it coated evenly. Put some tape down there on the lip, as you can see. Being fancy. Now the lead hole makes more sense. It matches. Kind of came together nicely. Dude, I am impressed by this piece of wood. What is this stuff? It's like a couple of eyes looking at you right there. And a beak. It's 2 eyes and a beak. Okay, see you in a few hours. Starting with Detail Smoke Black. And this is some fine mesh. Very small scales. Starting just behind the eyes to the tail. The Detail Smoke Black is very easy to control. I wouldn't use any other black for this. It's on there. It's probably already dry because there's not very much. Just a tiny bit darker with scales. Now for the belly. I do want there to be color on this somehow. I don't even know what color. I don't want to just go black and white. I could do orange, red. I don't think I'm gonna go like purple or anything. Orange, red, that's classy still. Chartreuse, traditional fishing color. I've decided. No, I'm gonna do orange. Yeah, I want orange. I don't care. And then I could come in with some green from the top. Fire Tiger Swirly Burl Bait. Coming right up. That's a good idea. Here's a stencil I made out of wax paper and my laser engraver. I'll probably do a video on that later. I'm not gonna do a video on a laser engraver right now. Nice and cheap and easy, fast, efficient way of making very detailed stencils. Look at all the detail in there. I'm gonna come up with orange from the bottom, green from the top. So it's gonna have some translucent stripes running into each other, kind of trying to meet at the center of the bait. I'm glad that I'm having to put this stencil back on and apply more. Overdoing it is just not an option right now. But it gives me a good feel for how much paint comes out of this brush right now, and if I'm overdoing it or not. Boom. Crispy. That looks good. You can see straight through that color still. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I think that's cool. It'll look really good with a matching eye too, so. It looks natural, it's flowy. It's like the wood, but it's some color and it's some classical fishing colors. I didn't screw it up. Think what I want's in here. Dead Meat Custom. Dang it, could've went red, white, and blue next time. Pointy part of the pupil forward, and since it's angled like that, a little bit down is my best guess on how to best orient this eye. There's a little bit of space left around the eye, so I want to make sure it's really centered too. That's pretty cool. Time for clear coat. I'm gonna put a little bit of sparkly in the clear coat. That's a little bit of orange and gold and then green and gold. But this is mostly just gonna be gold, which is a good mediary, or whatever you want to call it, between those two colors. Wow, that stayed focused the whole time. This is what I'm standing on, just so you know what I'm dealing with. Not ideal. Holy smokes, it's a cranker. That is wide, wide, wide wobble. Completely absurd wobble. Wow. It's pretty much going 360 degrees both ways. Goodness gracious. That was exaggerating. I should probably get a thumbnail. That is an absolutely gorgeous bait. Holy smokes. I posted it on Instagram, and a lot of you fellas are guessing that it's buckeye wood, buck snort. It's either buck snort or buckeye. Whoa, I'm icing up. If you start icing up, you just gotta fish harder. It's very much a shallow. I think the deepest I can get it is about 3 feet kind of bait. Super wide action, really hard pull, ridiculous amount of thump. I love it. I'm gonna leave you fellas with a bunch of action video of this bait. If you guys see this bait again, it will be because I caught a fish with it. And if not, if you don't see this bait again, it will be because I broke it off before catching a fish with it. It happens, you know, but I'll do my darndest. As you can see though, this bait's packing the action. A lot of movement out of that almost conventional sized bait right there. It's a little bit bigger. It's 1.9 ounces and 3 3/4 inch. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's buckeye. Somebody gave me some buckeye wood. I put the notes that people leave for me on the piece of wood. This one didn't have a note on it. I hope that means because they didn't send one. If you did, I'm sorry. But thank you so much for that beautiful piece of buckeye. Somebody sent me this insane. There's somewhere between 60 and 70 years worth of growth rings inside of that old growth redwood right there. Very cool piece of wood. Thank you, Robert. Anyway, we're talking about wood. Video's over. On to the next bait. What is this stuff? I gave it a thorough smell test. Okay. Classy. Absolute hetero. This could be way worse. And I like that. Holy smokes, it's a cranker.